What's up, everyone? It's Adam, and I'm here with Jacobsen.
Hi, I'm Elias, aka Jacobsen.
We got a lot in store for y'all. We're going to check out Elias' new song, Why Can't You Stay, parentheses, with me.
Yeah.
We're going to learn more about his background, his recent graduation from Cornish College of the Arts,
Yeah.
Mr. BFA. And we're going to make sure to tune in to his performance of Why Can't You Stay, parentheses, with me, later at the end. Stay tuned. Hi, Elias.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Adam?
I'm doing all right. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about you? Where are you from?
Well, I'm Elias Capstani. I am from Pacific Northwest. Lived here my whole life. Just graduated college.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, like literally yesterday.
Like
so,
yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Nice. What's your degree?
I have a BFA in acting and original works.
Okay, Mr. BFA. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How was that whole college experience like?
You know, there's been some ups and downs. Especially considering COVID.
Oh yeah,
and all.
that thing happened.
Yeah, arts and COVID don't mix, especially through an educational lens.
No,
Certainly not.
Mm-mm.
But you know what? I powered through, and I'm here now. So
you said you had a BFA in acting and
original works.
And original works. Where does music tie into that? Because you're here today.
Yeah.
As a musician with your newest song.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you say parentheses with me?
Yeah. So funny thing is that it took me a little bit to really think about what I wanted to do, or what track I wanted to be in at Cornish. And I had done a lot of music stuff prior to that, with School of Rock and taking lessons, and I'd been singing my whole life and been playing guitar for, is it 6 years now? Almost 6.
Nice.
Yeah. And I had thought about it for a very long time, and I had even toured some schools in the East Coast, but that was for acting and stuff still. But regardless, I thought long and hard, and I figured that my education in acting would land me some actual jobs, because it's pretty difficult to find any work as a musician today.
Yeah. Now it's just, if you make it big, you get all the gigs, you get all the nicest contracts.
Yeah. So I decided that it would be better for me to pursue acting, and I'm very happy I did. I've grown a lot as a person through the acting track at Cornish. I wouldn't be where I am today without that. So
you say that you feel like you've grown a lot. Talk to me a little bit about what your experience has been when you first started out, from like day one of 2019 when you first started a class to your last day.
I didn't really know what I was expecting, but with the faculty there, specifically for the theater department, they really pushed me to believe in what I was doing, as well as just like just getting familiar with the technique of acting, and doing scenes and collaborating with my peers, and even throughout my 4 years, I've had my falling outs with people, and we've reconnected as well, and I've had lots of time to grow as a person, and I think Cornish has really pushed me to be comfortable in my own skin, and that feels pretty good.
4 years really does go by fast, doesn't it?
It does.
It
yeah.
really does. Wow.
Especially since, for one of them, it wasn't even like real.
Yeah. We talk about the pandemic. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, the middle of those 2 years just kind of really merged together.
Man, it was so shit.
Yeah.
I talked about it in my senior synthesis. Yeah, I just went all in. I was just talking about like how with the pandemic going on, and it wasn't very fulfilling for me. And I had thought for a while that I had my moment where I was like, this sucks. I want to like quit for now. But I'm glad I didn't, because I would have had to wait another year to get my fucking bachelor's degree.
Right, yeah, just like get busted out, you know?
Yeah, you know, it was all necessary, right? You know, and I've sort of learned to accept that there are gonna be some hurdles. Right. And I'm still so young, and there's a lot that I want to do, and that I am hoping I will get to do.
What are some things that helped you, you know, really get through that period? You know, just not even with the pandemic, but helped you get through those 4 years and helped you grow as a person.
Smoking weed. No, I'm just kidding. But that was a new thing coming into college. But acting for me, as I continue to learn more about it, has helped me sort of process a lot of the pain and trauma I've had over the course of my life. And you know, it's a lot to unpack, and
how do you even like start to get in?
You don't. It just pops up. You know,
and
and I was talking to my mom about this too, and she was like, that shit does not go away. You know, even in her, you know, she's almost 60. Even now, at her age, she's still like, you know, things pop up, and it's like, okay, I see where that comes from. You know, and a lot of, you know, I guess trauma and like how we've processed emotions and stuff, it comes from our parents, right? And I've sort of learned a lot about myself through the mannerisms that my parents have, as well as just like my own experiences growing up.
How's your experience been getting into like the Seattle music scene?
Well, I've always been super fascinated with not only the music scene in Seattle, but just the arts. It's a cultural hub for that kind of thing. And my brother Ryan, who helped produce the song, you know, he's in a band. He's been in a few bands. Right now, he's been in his band Smoky Brights. Has been going on for a few years now, with his wife Kim and a couple other bandmates, and they're pretty well known around the Seattle area. They know lots of people, lots of bands. With the process of making this song, he's really helped guide me to towards like a process of just like creating music. And I have lots of ideas, just like saved on my phone, and
for future projects.
Yeah, for future songs or whatever, right? But I want to start getting into the habit of songwriting. Is like my next goal. Because for the past 4 years, I hadn't really done that.
But the story behind the song, like what's the story behind it?
Yeah, so this song was made for my senior thesis, which is an original play I wrote. And this was like, it was kind of like my excuse to be like, okay, I have to write something. But, and even then, writing the play was fun, and I'd spent like 6 months writing it.
Wow.
Yeah. And wow, how if that felt very long. It was very stressful, and you know, it's done. I'm happy I did it.
What about it made it so stressful? I mean, besides the process and the fact that it's your senior thesis.
Right, yeah. Well, towards the end, it was really stressful. I was one of the first people to present the thesis. People have like tons of different options as to what they want to do, but I chose to play because I didn't want to write a paper.
Oh no.
So this was like,
Well, technically, you did write a paper.
well, I did, but this is way more fun than having to just like
Write in, submit it on
this
Canvas.
is what I did. This was my process. Yada yada yada. It's boring shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, did you tell me what the story behind the play that you wrote?
I did not answer that. This is the first time you asked me. So
Oh.
the play, it's called Requiem for My Cranium. It's kind of like a brain piece, right? And it's largely inspired by the video game Disco Elysium, if you've ever heard of it. No. Okay. It's a detective role-playing game.
Ooh.
It came out originally in I believe 2019.
Mm-hmm.
That game is another thing that got me through college. I absolutely fucking love it. And it, has the premise of like you're playing as like a total piece of shit, like a worthless human being, and parts of your brain are talking to you. But it's not in the sense of like, say, Inside Out, where it's like disgust, happiness, whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of like multiple ideas of brain function, right? So there's, for example, you have like
Frontal lobe.
yeah. Well, that's how it's differentiated in my play. But for this game, it's you have your different skill trees, right? And for example, you'll have something like encyclopedia, which is like sort of like the history of the world of the game that you're playing now. And depending on your skill level, you can get drastically different answers depending on what skill. It's like totally. What I love about it so much is that each playthrough you get a new piece of information, and that's kind of the loop of. So anyway, for my play, it was really important for me to make it distinct, and hold it as its own thing, as opposed to Disco Elysium, because it's like a totally different thing. Basically, the premise is that I have my main character Johnny, and he has this piece of brain that talks to him, and he's also pretty like he's kind of like a lame dude, right? And he's going to be going on a date, and his brain is talking to him like, you need to do this, you need to do this instead. It's like very back and forth, and a lot of clashing of ideas within himself, and that's kind of like the driving force of the whole thing. And he's also a musician, as part of the story of the play, and he goes on his date. He connects with the girl that he asked out, which is Chloe. He asks her out in like the dumbest fucking way, like some bad pickup line, and they talk a little bit, and it's like she says yes to going out with him miraculously, and it's the build up to this is like the preparation of the date and like what he's gonna do before to
impress her.
Or just whatever. And where my song comes in is that Johnny, he listens to some music. He's trying to get inspired to write his own music, and he hadn't done it for a while, and his brain is like, you should do this thing, because it'll be good. And he's like, okay, fine. And the limbic system, which is kind of like the antagonist of the play, sort of. The limbic system is like, you need to get inspired by some sad music, because you're a sad boy. And he's like, okay, cool, that sounds like a good idea. And he shuffles some songs on the playlist. And the one that is like the song is
your song.
Yeah, my song. And that's kind of where the whole thing comes in. And part of that is it was made by a fiction character I made called Buddy Fang.
Buddy Fang.
Yeah, and the limbic system transforms into Buddy Fang as a metaphysical representation of this character, right?
Right.
And he kind of thinks of him as like a total. Well, Johnny doesn't think it himself, but Buddy Fang is like an asshole, right? Like he's like, Johnny, you need to like. Doesn't matter what you think. It's like you need to just fuck her, whatever. Like it's very like sexist mindset in, and he's like, he goes on a date. It starts out fine, but then it doesn't at the end, and he's like, yeah, it just doesn't go well.
Yeah,
and then he has like this moment of just like, oh, everything sucks. I'm just gonna get fucked up. And then at the end of the play, the frontal lobe, which is like the person with like
the reasoning, right?
Yeah, the reasoning. Yeah, basically, it's like he sits him down. It's like, look, man, you gotta get better, right? You can't keep doing this to yourself. You know, you had this relationship. It's been over and done years ago. Whatever. You need to get up on your feet, fix up your life, and then you'll feel better. And this play that I wrote, it was kind of my way of sort of telling myself that I can still, like, you know, I still have the power to be better, you know, and not just for me, and that can apply to anybody, right? But, you know, I'd gone through a couple drafts, and, you know, I had found this was also part of the stressful part, was like finding a director and actors, and we ran into a lot of hiccups, but we did it, and it turned out pretty good, and I got a pretty good reaction to it. With the song, that part of the process was probably my favorite. And it took like the whole day, one day, and during my spring break, it was right in the middle, and I talked to my brother Ryan previously, and I was like, man, I need some help. You know, I hadn't written a song since my senior year of high school, and that was for my then senior thesis as well. You know,
how did you prepare yourself for this role?
What role?
As a playwright.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you know, playwriting was something I had been interested in, and you know, I dabbled with in high school as well. And like 3 short plays. And you know, that was something I also wanted to get better with, and I feel like I have at least a little bit. And it's something I want to continue to learn about. But music just kind of like it fell out of my hands a little bit, because I was so focused on acting and learning about it, and you know, it's pretty hard trying to do this, you know, at the same time. And even back then, I didn't have a process of like how I was going to write something. I always had an idea for like a riff on the guitar, or like in school, but I never really committed to it.
Right.
But I want that to change, and because I feel like I have good ideas, and I got a really positive response from this last song, and you know, I feel like I can totally make some cool shit that way.
Yeah. Well, that name, Uno Jacobsen, where'd that come?
Yeah. So that came from I guess I was talking to some people about whatever. This was during the pandemic. I guess
stage name?
Yeah, it's my it's like I'm considering it my stage name, but how it came to be was we were talking about like burlesque names, because that's a class Asian to get Cornish.
Yeah.
And I think how people get them is like it's the name of your first pit in the street you grew up on. So Uno was the name of one of the dogs that my dad had. Jacobsen was the street that, not necessarily that I grew up on. I did go to middle school and high school while I was living there, and that's like the place I had the most fun. So I feel like, and
interesting to get a name.
Yeah, I think it, I was talking to my brother Ryan about it too, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's like your porn star name." Like that's also like a way that people would get those names that way, and I was like, okay, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It really stuck with me for a while, and I like it. I think it has a nice ring to it.
It's like the name of your crush is your birth month, and
yeah, some stupid shit like that. Yeah. I mean, literally, like with Childish Gambino, it was from a rap generator.
Yeah.
Like the name doesn't necessarily matter, but it's still cool, right? It's a cool stage name, and yeah, I want to brand myself.
Thank y'all for tuning in. This has been Adam.
It's been Elias, aka Jacobsen,
and we will see y'all next time.
You're so divine, just out of reach like a power line. I'm lost in your light, electric fire in your eyes. I can break through, each road just leads right back to you. Please, why can't you give me a sign? These lonely nights just make me cry. Can we get back to yesterday? Love's made for two, why can't you stay? I feel so weak, nowhere but down. You were my peak for what's on my mind. It takes more than just a clever line to say what is true. Each road just leads right back to you. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Please, why can't you give me a sign? These lonely nights just make me cry. Can we get back to yesterday? Love's made for two, why can't you stay? Please, why can't you give me a sign? These lonely nights just make me cry. Can we get back to yesterday? Love's made for two, why can't you stay with me? It's not